I absolutely love a good fog effect in a Halloween display. I haven't had one the last couple of years myself because I had a couple of them that had lasted me for years. They finally broke down and I just never got around to replacing it. Well, thankfully, our friends at Yonmiu, I'm sorry if I butchered that, who is an Amazon seller, I'll put a link to their Amazon page in the description below, have sent me a new fog machine to try, and it came at the perfect time because I want to do a swamp effect in my display this year. A swamp effect, if you're not familiar, basically, you take a laser light, which projects a line, and then using some low-lying fog juice, it'll look like the laser is a water effect through the fog. I really liked that effect in Netherworld last year when I went through that for the first time. In each room that you went through, kind of that laser light got higher and higher, and it looked like you were going deeper and deeper in the water. Anyway, since I saw that, I just knew I had to do it, and we're going to make it happen this year. So before we go ahead and open up the box, let's take a quick peek at the website so you can see what this fog machine is all about. Again, I will put a link to the Yonmiu Amazon page in the description of this video, but they have a couple of different fog machines available for sale now. Both of them have lighting options, which I think is pretty neat. And they're controlled by remote controls, so you can do that remotely. There is a $85 version that's 1200 watts, or the one we're going to test today is a 1500 watt version for $109. But if you buy now, there is a coupon available so you can save $10 off. Clicking on the details here, we can take a look at some of these images. Halloween atmosphere maker, that's what I'm all in for, but there are other options you could do as well for like weddings and parties or whatnot, because this color option is a really interesting idea. It looks like you can also have effects with the lighting as well, so it's not just colored lights. As we scroll down, we'll take a quick look at the customer reviews. Looks like most of them out of 11 reviews are 5-star, a couple 4 and 3s. It's a great fogger. It feels professional, great output, nice full smoke, and a solid fog machine. All right, well, I can't wait to test it out for ourselves and see if it is, in fact, the perfect fog machine for us. So let's go ahead and open up the box and see what is inside. So it comes packaged in, it actually came in a separate Amazon box, and then this was, I think, an interior box as well. So if you're interested in making sure you have pristine packaging, you're going to get that with this. So we have an instruction booklet. Looks like there might be a little bit of assembly required. So we have a handle. Looks like we've got the remote control. This is interesting, actually. The cover, it has a little cover on the remote so you can cover up the buttons to keep them from being pressed. That's pretty neat. And then there is a manual switch as well that would be connected to the machine itself. This little remote control we can just pull right off. A couple of handle parts and pieces. The fog machine. Look at those lights. I will say, this is a solid fog machine. So it's got the metal cover on it, which is nice because the last one I had was very plasticky. So I'm very impressed with the quality of this offhand. Looks like still in the box we have the cable and a little remote control. The cord itself is a couple of feet long, maybe 3 feet long. Let's go ahead and plug that in. So in the back here, there's the on-off switch, there's the wireless connector, and then of course the power. I like that there's a gauge right here so you can see how much liquid is still in the bottle without having to lift it up. Let's go ahead and take the bottle out. So it holds a decent amount. You have nice high quality like brass fittings on this pipe, so I'm pretty impressed with that. I'm going to go ahead right now and fill up the fog juice. So I am using, like I said, this is just a freeze-in fog. I haven't used these before. I just bought it on Amazon months ago when I decided I was going to do this swamp effect. I just never got around to testing it. I have heard really good things about Froggy's fog juice, so if you're interested, I might recommend them just based on everybody else's recommendations. All right, that is just about full, and it took 2/3 at least of the bottle. Well, maybe not at least, so about 2/3 of the bottle. Let's go ahead and put the hose back in. Ooh, and we are overflowing. Don't squeeze the bottle as you put it back in. All right, so we have the button to press to turn it on. It has a connector. We're just going to plug right in here. I'm not sure. It doesn't look like that might be a universal connector. I would actually have liked to have a timing mechanism, which I know my last one had. It would just automatically go off at certain intervals, whatever you set it. I'm not sure if this has an option for that. It didn't come with one. Didn't look like it was on their website, but offhand, I would really appreciate that if they did. All right, we're just going to unscrew these screws on the top so that we can put on this handle. Comes with a couple of washers. We just stick the screw through the handle using the enclosed Allen wrench. We can then put it in place and tighten it. It does have a mounting bracket as well. You would just take this nice handle here, screw it right into the side, and then you can hang it from a ceiling or something, I guess. But I don't have that need, so I'm not going to put that on. All right, I think it's time to see it in action. I've got the remote controls, we've got the cables. We do need to plug this in for 3 to 5 minutes for it to heat up. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and I will meet you out there once it's ready. So the fog machine is all warmed up. Now, full transparency, I did actually test it already inside the garage where I wanted to do my fog effect. And I think it might be a bit too intense for inside. So we're gonna check out outside and see how well it works out here. So we have a couple of different ways to activate it. We've got the push button, and basically if I press this red button, it will hold the button down, and that's going to let it keep activating, and it'll go for a few seconds, wait, and then restart. Or you can just press it and then press it again to make it stop. We've got the remote control to do the exact same thing. And then we have our lighting remote control. So I have the lighting off right now. One of the reviews actually suggested that you can't turn the light off, but the off on the remote control is for the light, so you can turn it on and off if you don't want that in the display. You have a whole bunch of different colors. I think right now it's just cycling through them, which is fine. So let's go ahead and turn it on and see how much fog we get. We've got a bit of a breeze today. You can see it does dissipate fairly quickly, but there is a lot of fog. So the little red light on this button will indicate when it is ready to go again. So let's see how long it takes before it goes. While we are doing that, we can check out the lights. So we can see right now it's red, but you can make it a solid color: red, blue, green, pink, whatever you want. There's even a strobe effect. That is a lot of fog. If you let this cycle a couple of times, this fog is going to linger a little bit and really spread throughout the yard. You can see the wind is kind of blowing it around. At least I think you can probably see it in the camera. If you can't, it's kind of all over the place. And that was the problem with doing it inside, is that fog lingers, which I really like. It sticks around, keeps it nice and misty and creepy. All right, so this is my DIY fog chiller. It's very simple. It is just a cooler full of ice with the lid slightly open so the fog can spill out. I'm going to point the nozzle of the fogger right into this PVC that's going to route the fog into the cooler and through the ice. So hopefully it will spill out and stay a little closer to the ground. I've also gone ahead and set up my laser light. I'm not sure it's going to do very well here in the daylight. It does seem to need to be a little bit darker. But if I go ahead and turn it on, we can see that light appearing on the animatronics here. Hopefully we'll see that light through the fog and it'll look like water. This time I'm going to use the little remote control to turn it on and see how it works. Offhand, we can see that the fog is laying a little bit lower. Not quite as low as I would like it, but we are battling the wind. So I may try and put it at the other end and see how it works going downwind. All right, this time we are going to try it upwind, see if it works any better. That fog's creeping in. It's very thick. There we go. That's that nice spooky mist as the wind blows it around. So clearly I've got a little bit more work to do to figure out this display. This fog machine does put out a lot of smoke, as you can see, but on a windy day it dissipates very quickly. But I think by the time it dissipates, it cycles again, so it's on a pretty good time cycle. I do think this might work a little bit better inside where that fog is contained because it does want to linger. When you've got any sort of wind though, it just blows right away. So I'm not really sure how I'm going to do this in my display, but let's take a quick peek at what it would look like. An indoor setting really contains this fog. It is so creepy in there. This would absolutely be perfect for a haunted house setting where you want that smoky, foggy effect where you can hardly see in there. But the nice thing again is it has this remote control. So if you want to dictate how much or how little of that fog is inside your display, you can do that with the push of a button and help maintain that control. I really like that. Of course, the lighting function is pretty neat. I do like the fact that you have a strobe effect. I'm not sure. Let's see if you can kind of see that through the fog. Makes it extra creepy, I think. But of course, you have all the different settings to make it nice and colorful. If you're going to have a party or whatnot, it would be excellent just to have atmosphere for any sort of function. The other thing is I don't think the sound is overwhelming. It's got a kind of a psh sound when it first starts, but overall the motor is relatively quiet, I think, compared to at least my last one, so I like that. I would again have preferred if there were more of a timer so we could dictate how often it would activate. I would have liked certain situations where it might not activate quite as often. But again, if you want to handle that manually, you do have that option. All right, but leave me a comment below. Let me know what you think. If you have any suggestions about how I can better incorporate this into my display, I'm all ears and would love to hear your opinions. Before we go, I did want to say a special thank you to all the patrons who help support the channel. If you're interested in joining our Fright Club, be sure to check out a link to my Patreon page in the description below. That's going to do it for today. Thanks for watching, everyone. Till next time, take care and happy haunting.